Welcome, everybody, to the first Monday in May, Metaphysical Chat Live. So delighted to have you here. I'm going to be answering your questions from chat tonight. So if you have questions, put them in the comments. Try to keep them metaphysical. If we get slow at any point, then we can veer off a little. But I'd like to start out with the metaphysical stuff first. So let me know what's on your mind and what you want to chat about. I see there are 5 people out there. Let me know what's on your mind. Anybody have a question? Did you guys see the FDR channeling that I posted? I think it's been a couple days ago now. Yeah, you're all quiet tonight. Well, anyway, so I posted a message from FDR, who is really worried about the country. And he's predicting that when this is all shaken out, we're going to end up with a new constitution because the old one is irretrievably broken. Can't go back there. We have to go forward, creating a new foundation, a new constitution, and this time it will include everybody. Equality and freedom for everybody, regardless of anything else, which it never really did. It was never equal. Hey, Jenny, you liked the FDR chat. I'm so glad. Not yet, Laura. Okay. When you get to it, it's pretty cool. And the reason I bring that up is because in the message, FDR talked about how the orange one is losing the marbles and barely coherent these days, which some of us have seen that already. And as a result, there is a movement amongst some of the cabinet members to essentially shutter him aside. They take over, they're running the ship. He's just a figurehead. So we talked about this in the Seekers member meeting in April, and people were just puzzled about that. How could that be that he would be a figurehead? Well, if he gets to the doddering, babbling stage where he's not able to really function on his own, they're just giving him a few words and some toys to play off, and they send him do this interview, do that interview, and they give him just enough to keep him going through. And then when he runs out, he keeps repeating the same stuff over and over like a broken record. If you saw that recent interview on 60 Minutes, it was so blatant. That's what was going on. And he's also at the point where I have heard some say that whoever he talks to last, he remembers that, and that's what he goes with. So when he met with Zelensky at the Pope's funeral, they had a really good conversation because now Zelensky knows how to play that fiddle. And he planted some ideas, got him on his side, and they got the deal done, thank goodness. And so that's kind of why things are happening. So yesterday, I found a post from somebody who talked about how it's now like a weekend at Bernie's, and you probably will know what that refers to. So they're just shuttling. Yeah, I think shuttling is the word I'm going for. Shuttling him around, giving him what he needs to kind of get through because nobody really expects very much of him anyway. So he's not really making decisions. He's not in charge. He's pretending that he's in charge, but he's getting all of his ideas planted by those who are controlling him, particularly by the ghoul at the top. So if you go look at the community page, you'll find that post where we talked about that. Laura, you read an article that stated the split has already happened. Some of us are in New Earth, while many of us have feet in both worlds. Wondering what the angels have to say. That's a great question, because I've heard all kinds of things too. So let's just ask Metatron where we are. So, Metatron, have some of us already entered it? And I'm going to ask for 4D. Well, I'll ask 5D because I don't believe we're going to 5D because that's the Akashic Records. We'd be dead. So I think we're really going to 4D. But so Metatron, have some of us entered the 4D arena? Have we gone through the split already? No, not yet. Okay. Are there some people who have feet in both camps, 3 and 4D? Yeah, there's kind of that straddling the line is going on, and so there's a lot of shifting energy going back and forth, which I think many of us have felt and we've been talking about. That's what's happening. So yeah, let me know if that answered your question, Laura, because I'm not sure I got the whole thing. Hey, welcome, Linda. Glad to see you. Yes, the puppet. Absolutely. Welcome, Goddess Val from Palm Beach. Oh my gosh. I don't know how you're making it there, Goddess Val. Things are crazy there. Jarnell Singh, is it 3D to 5D? I think I just answered that, but in case it wasn't clear, 5D is where the Akashic records are, and that's where you go when you die, when you leave your body. So, my understanding and what my angels have told me is we're going to 4D, which, if you think about it, makes sense because why would we skip from 3 to 5? What happened to 4, right? So, we are shifting into the 4D, which is where our higher self was always at. So we're just shifting up that one level in this new version of Earth. And that's what we're moving towards. I hope that makes sense. So, anything else? Any more questions? You guys are pretty quiet there. Yeah, so I also posted for the members, you'll already see it, the little short version of the Sylvia Brown conversation that we had during Lovestream. It's not the whole thing, so if you haven't seen it, you want to be sure and click the link, the related video link in that short, to go hear the whole thing. Because Sylvia Brown popped in on day 7, I think it was, with Linda Lang, and brought us some really cool information about what they're doing on their side facilitating, and just fascinating. Oh, thank you, Gray Raven Tarot. I appreciate that. Did you have a question you wanted to ask? Goddess Val, geographically, as the bee flies, you're a mile from Mar-a-Lago. Oh my, I'm sorry. That must be really rough. How do you deal with that intense energy being so close? You must have to wear a shield or something all the time. Crazy, crazy. That is such a cool little animation, Gray Raven. Thank you. You've been donating to some of the tarot readers. Gratitude for. Did you mean to spell that terror instead of tarot? Yeah, I'm sorry. We try not to do tarot here. I mean, tarot. Terror. My gosh, I can't talk now. Terror here. And even when we do talk about the scary, disturbing things that are coming up, because FDR did talk about that, there's always a balance of what we can do to mitigate, because that's what we're about as light workers. Whatever's coming, we, along with our angels, can mitigate to lessen, if not outright get rid of, the negative impact. But in Sylvia's little conversation we had, she was talking about, watch your back, because there are actually dark forces who are functioning as bounty hunters going after some of the light workers right now, which goes hand in hand with what Metatron has been talking about. I think Raziel said it too. If you're going to go to the protests, if you're going to stand out there, consider disguising yourself. Not out of fear, just being cautious, because some bystander could take your picture, post it on social media, and it could cause you problems. So just be wise, put on some kind of disguise. Get out there, use your voice. That's important. Don't be afraid, but also take precautions. Oh, thank you, Gray Raymond. It was the phone twisting the words. I'm so glad to hear that, because it would be disturbing to think that you were feeling it was terror. Yeah, I'm glad you don't, because there's some that are scarier than others. But above all, the message from the angels is don't go into fear. We've got this. We've just got to keep moving forward. We are getting closer every day. We are going to move out of this nightmare. It's just not going to be tomorrow or even next month, but we will be getting there soon. Goddess Val, you signed up to hold the light while all the stuff occurs. Wow. Thank you for that bravery, because it's got to be massive. What is the difference between dimension and density? Linda is asking. I don't know, so I'm just going to ask that question. So, Metatron, can you help us understand the difference between density and dimension? So the dimensions go in numerical order. It's up one step at a time, which also goes along with your vibrational frequency. So your vibrational frequency will match the dimension that you're at. So right now in 3D, people actually have 5D consciousness. Let me explain that because it's a little confusing. So once you reach a stage where you know that you're a soul, you have that awareness, you have shifted to 5D consciousness. Your body is still in 3D, but your consciousness is in 5D. So when we shift over into 4D, then we'll have to see what that does to us. So I'm probably confusing you more than you were to begin with. So let's ask for a little more clarification on that from Metatron, because it's not entirely clear to me either. And so can you help us to get the difference between the density and the dimension? Okay, so the dimensions, go up one at a time, and there is some mathematical measurement between them, just like there is for the vibrational frequency, which goes up in tenths. So then the density, there are multiple densities within a dimension. That's what I'm getting. So can you just lay that out a little bit more so we can grasp it? Why do we need the densities? You don't really need them. It's just a way to measure in finer increments. So are you saying that it's like the tenths of a point in a dimension, that there would be each of those different densities within the tenths? Is that what it is? Not exactly, no. Okay, you got to give me more because I'm floundering here. What does it mean? Oh, I get it. Okay. So, you know how we have been feeling as we go through this ascension, the up leveling of our frequency as we move forward. We have felt more of a heaviness as we move up. So, like when you first entered the dimension, you feel more dense energy. So that would be like, let's say 1.0 in the fifth dimensional energy frequency. I don't know if that makes sense. And as you move up the tenths of the points between the 5 and the 6, the density changes. It gets lighter and lighter as you move up. So that's like a measurement within a measurement, if that makes sense. Let me know if it does, and if it doesn't, I'll try and get you more that helps with that. It's complicated stuff. So you guys are really quiet tonight. Nothing on your mind? Anything you want to talk about? Are you noticing the energy from the sun, from the bursts that are coming out? Because there's a lot of that going on right now as well. I personally have not really noticed that was a specific thing, but supposedly we are going to. So it's something to keep in mind if you're feeling something unusual. I know for a while there, I was really focusing on being present in the moment and slowing time down. And then I think like in the last 2 or 3 weeks, something shifted again and suddenly time is racing once more. Has anybody noticed that besides me? Oh, I'm sorry. Never whistle at night. Exhaustion is the name of the game. Is that just from the heavy energy outside or from the events or something else? Because there are things we can do to mitigate that too. Linda, it makes sense, but it may be less shocking on the physical as we move forward. I think so too, because we'll get better at it. We're more conscious of it, where, before we reached the fifth dimensional consciousness, we might have felt something, but we wouldn't have had a clue what it was because we hadn't even gone to the point of realizing we were souls. It was like, okay, this is who we are and what we're at. Oh my gosh. You're Canadian, Never Whistle at Night, and your election was so intense. There's an energy hangover. I get that. So I don't know if you meditate, but I would highly recommend meditating. And let me give you a link to a meditation that might be really helpful right now. Oh, come on, open the window, will you? That one's not opening. Let's try another one. There's one on my YouTube channel. It's a Vital Force energy infusion which is really wonderful when you get run down to give you that boost that you need. And I think it's probably between 10 and 15 minutes. It's not long at all, but it's super powerful. There it is. And you can do this as often as you need to give you a boost. Also, right now, the angels are all recommending more self-care. It's really time to slow down, do some deep breathing, be very conscious and purposeful about what you're doing as you move forward. That will help a lot. There we go. We're back where we were. Yeah, so if you're falling asleep while you're meditating, then try sitting up while you meditate because it's really easy to do that. Now, sometimes it's good you just needed the sleep and maybe the meditation helped you get there. And if that's your purpose, great. But if your purpose is to get that recharge, to fill up your tank with vital force energy, then try sitting up to be sure. You can also set an intention at the beginning, asking your angels to be with you, holding you and keeping you in a state of wakefulness so that you can have the entire experience. And you should feel refreshed after you do that meditation. Again, you can do that as often as you need to. So, never whistle at night. I'm hearing from people that they're very happy about the election in Canada, that they're just so relieved that it feels like they've gone in a common sense direction with hope for rebuilding the future. I don't know if that's what you're feeling or not, but we were really excited about it here for you, thinking that, oh my gosh, so happy you didn't follow the MAGA train, which it looks like a number of countries were starting to do. Jenny, you're quiet and you're sorry. You've been so involved in health stuff for weeks, and it will continue. Yeah, I understand. You're battling a big steamship or something that seems to be trying to mow you down. So let's just say a little prayer, you guys. Let's bring all of our energy for Jenny because she's got a big health challenge right now. So, angels, I call upon all of you who are here with us tonight, the teams of each individual and Jenny's team. Please all come together. Send massive blasts of healing energy so that Jenny can bathe in it and it can soak into every corpuscle, every molecule, every atom, every scintilla of her physical body and into her ethereal body to lift her up, to bring her light, hope, renewed energy, and massive bursts of healing energy so that she can come out of this present challenge healed, whole, and filled with optimal glowing fitness. Please and thank you. So just receive all of that energy. Jenny, let it just wash over you as much as you need. And know that that tank is never empty. It's perpetually filled and continues to be filled for you. Jarnail, about the control of the world. How about too much control by one family member in the family? Are you talking about the orange one or about something else? I'm going to assume you mean the orange one, and then if not, let me know. So, angels, can you enlighten us with the orange one? Is there one member of the family who has too much control, who's pulling the strings? Well, the ultimate puppet master, Vlad, but through Vlad, the spouse, because that's who she answers to. She's always been an operative. That's why they got together, and that's why she had the kid and anchored herself right in. Let me know if you need more on that. So, Kathy B., Canadian, you felt a huge shift after the election. hopeful because you had the highest turnout since 2015. A sign people are waking up. Oh, thank you, God. Yes, that is wonderful. It felt that way to me as well. I think a lot of people noticed that. There was just such a joyful hope for the future shift that had been lacking for quite some time. And definitely gives us hope here that we can overcome the scourge that's plaguing the country. You know, I was thinking the other day about the whole cult angle and wondering just how far has it gone with some people. And I was thinking of one person in particular that's a friend of my husband's who they talk about this a lot, and it's just unreal. And so I was curious, what if you ask this person, would they kill for the orange one? Are they that deep? Thankfully, they said no, but I'm not sure how far they are from that. So there's still a little bit of humanity left in there and hope we can bring them back from the brink. So I'm going to just take a lot of hope from that and move forward with it. But that might be a good litmus test for us to figure out who are the ones that are really over the edge and the ones who are not. So never whistle, happy but a minority parliament, and the conservative vote did increase. Lots of disinformation. Yeah. I read something about Carney was opening up the gates to the other guy, the conservative guy, to get into parliament so that both sides could have a say. I hope that ends up being a wise choice. Yes, Linda, Australia had a positive election. I haven't heard much about that, but I did hear it was positive. So these are all good signs. We will take the encouraging news wherever we can get it. Well, I'm also, with regard to what's going on here, I'm encouraged that David Hogg has stepped up and drawn a line in the sand and said, hey, we're going to use our money to primary the Blue Dog Democrats because we don't need them. I mean, hello, this has been true for how many years? How much damage have they done? And you allowed them to stay? And by the way, please take Schumer with you when you go out the door. So that's very hopeful that the young ones are coming up, planting that flag in the ground and saying, this is the line. We're holding the line because that's what we need. You are so welcome, Jenny. Yes. I'm seeing you get a boost of energy and just floating along, allowing the healing to continue processing because it's all there for you. Your body can and will heal when you set it up, you give it what it needs. And we just sent you a big boost. So allow that to process. Thank you for the blessings for Jenny. Never whistle. Yeah. Hey, Marianne, you're still feeling uncomfortable? Meditate every day, so it would be worse if you didn't. Yeah, probably. Yeah. Maybe though, if you're still not feeling enough of a shift, try some different meditations. That could be helpful as well. If you don't have my book, Little Book of Meditations, that would be awesome. It's if you're on Kindle, it's free on Kindle. And it's 18 angel meditations that were chosen specifically by Metatron to help us through this crap. So there is everything in there from basic grounding to some really deep moving work where you are actually held in the arms of Creator. And it doesn't get much deeper than that. It's very beautiful. It's restorative and of both the soul and the body. Just feels wonderful. So let's see, I'll type that in for you. Can you guys hear that cat meowing? She likes to stand at the door and meow when I'm live streaming. I don't know why she does that. Well, I do know why, it's attention, but it never gets her anywhere, so I don't know why she keeps doing it. Let's see, I don't see the link there. I'm going to have to go grab it for you. So I'll do that. Oh, by the way, while I'm getting that link, you guys, I don't know if you noticed the note I left you, but this background, did you read about this background? It's just the coolest thing. I took the first verse from this song, Aquarius, put it into AI, and asked it to give me an image that represents that verse. This is what I got. It's just the coolest thing. I was really excited to see it. Actually, I was surprised it came out as well as it did because you just never know what you're going to get when you put stuff like that into AI. Sometimes it's just totally off the wall and not helpful at all, and other times it's truly amazing. Okay, there we go. So, anybody who wants to get Little Book of Meditations, there's your link. Highly recommend it because it's another production of Metatron's. Gray Raven, you had a huge turnout in Massachusetts. You arrived at 6 an hour early. Already a line of people waiting to get in. That is awesome. But there was still funny business during this recent election? That's disturbing. And that was your primary, I take it? Our primary is this month too, but a couple weeks away. Jarnail, any solution to be under the control of a one family member as a negative control? Positive control might not be that bad. Well, I don't know. It's better to be a sovereign soul. That's what the angels keep telling us. So, what can you tell Jarnail about being under the control of a negative soul? It's your life. Get out if you have to. Do whatever you need to do for your survival because they are suppressing your beautiful light and your spirit. The longer you allow that to go on, the harder it will be to break away when you're ready. So, in some ways, it reminds me a little bit about the battered wife syndrome. You know, they stay because they're afraid to leave, they don't have the resources to leave, they might be destitute if they leave. But in that situation for them, they might be dead if they stay. So, for their life, they've got to leave no matter what, even if they are destitute. There are services out there that can help. Other friends, other family, whatever you have to do to get away from that control because it's suppressing your soul, your beautiful bright light. And the longer you do that, as I said, the dimmer that light gets, and it's really hard to escape. So if you're feeling it, if you're conscious of it, then do whatever it takes to get out. And that might mean making some really difficult choices, but it's your life. If you knew you would not survive, what would you do to get out? That's the question to ask yourself, and then take action. And if you need support, you just come and you ask. We will send all of that energy to support you. But also look around for local community support because there may be a lot more than what you realize when you ask. I hope that helps. Never Whistle says Carney is allowing the election being called for Pierre in the interest of democracy. Third chess move of him, yeah. It's just sensible, as long as he watches his back, because, here in the US, the Democrats have done that for too long. They've been the good guys. We'll turn the other cheek. We'll keep playing by the rules of, what was it, the Marquis of Queensberry rules, where people had, manners and they played by certain standards. That's just not the way it's been here for a very long time. So as long as the Dems kept playing by the old rules, they were getting slaughtered because the other side just doesn't have any rules. It's winner take all. That's it, no matter what it takes. You got another liberal seat today, Kathy B. That's so awesome. 170 to 172. And you have more offices that are up for election? Must be, if you're saying that. Pamela Anderson. What does Metatron say about 3 days of darkness and the orangutans fall? That's a new one on me. I've never heard that before. Previously, Metatron has said the 3 days of darkness is a very old prophecy, which is based on mythology. So we are not going to have a day where the sun goes out for 3 days. However, there could be something, he said, energetically that shifts that will be less than a full blackout, but something that we will feel. But I will ask him again just to clarify. Yeah, I don't. Goddessfell, were you talking to somebody named David, or was there some? I think I'm missing the connection on that conversation. So, Metatron, what can you tell us about 3 days of darkness? What's the latest update on 3 days of darkness? Is that something that's coming? There are all sorts of shifts coming. The reference to 3 days of darkness is an old mythology. However, there is a kernel of truth. There will be a challenging event that will be linked to the solar flares. Okay. So does that mean the light will get dimmer during those 3 days? It may. It depends upon when it hits, where in the cycle it hits, whether you will actually see it or not. Okay, can you give us more on that? So it's tied to solar flares. Something will happen. And what will be the results of the 3 days? The results will be that it's going to shake a lot of people up. It's going to frighten them terribly. So you, as light workers, can be there to steady them, let them know this was expected. It's nothing to be afraid of. Hunker down, do whatever you need to do to take care of yourself during that time, because there will be a lot of fear. You may have to stay indoors to stay away from a potential stampede of people who just panic, lose their minds, and go racing off like a mad mob. So take care of you first. From there, do what you can to help others. Now, will there be a warning when this happens, Metatron? Will we know when it's coming? We will give you as much warning as we can. So yes, there will be a warning. But prepare now. Have your go bags ready if that's something that you need to do, so that you can bug out if that's required. Be vigilant in listening for your angels' voices. They will be there. They will let you know, and they will give you as much information as they can. So being very present in the moment. All right, so can you give us any kind of time frame when this might happen? Is it going to be in the month of May? Not decided. Things are up in the air. Month of June? Same thing. Okay. Is it highly likely it will be less than a month? No, more than a month. Highly likely more than a month. Okay. So that would push it into June, right? Probably, but there is the chance that it could happen earlier. This is why you must be diligent, stay present in the moment, listening. And for all of the Lightworker community, when one of you gets the message, then you can share it with your community. You may not want to share it with the whole wide world. You might want to use discretion in whom you share it with, so that you can take care of the Lightworkers. Because at this point, some of the ones who have gone so far over onto the cult side might not be rational enough to hear such news, which could lead to dire circumstances. Wow, okay. All right, and what about orangutans? Is there something about orangutans we need to know? So you're saying the orangutans will somehow sense this event before it happens. So if we watch their behavior, we would know if something was coming. Okay. Well, I don't know why we need orangutans if the angels are going to tell us. Oh, I got it. Okay, because not everybody is tuned in enough to hear the angels. So the orangutans are the backup plan. I hope this makes sense. It sounds really cockeyed and cuckoo to me, but Metatron just validated it, so I guess we got to go with it. But then, he surprises me all the time, so we will find out. David Hogg, thank you. Somehow I lost track of that in the conversation. Okay. Yeah, Jenny, big fan of David Hogg. He is amazing, isn't he? To come through what he has. Because the PTSD all of those kids must have, even the ones who weren't in a shooting, because every day they go to school not knowing if they're going to go home or if their friends are going to go home. It's horrible. We're going to have to do a lot of mental health work when we get to a balanced place. So, Amanda, how can people tell the difference between soul, karmic, and counterpart connections? I'm not sure what a counterpart connection is, but we'll just ask that question. So, Metatron, how can people tell the difference between soul, karmic, and counterpart connections? Soul connections you just feel at a deep level. You may not understand why you are drawn to a certain person or situation, but when that happens, it's because you have some kind of a past life contract or karma with them that's drawing you together. And so that kind of bleeds over a little into the karma, but it's still a separate category. So what about the karmic connections? What can you tell us about that? Well, the karma you're actually creating every day. So you will have past life karma that is playing out, which can be linked to those contracts. You will also have karma that you are creating now in the moment every day. So those things will be a factor. And when you have some kind of a karma with someone, it's almost like you're magnetically drawn together. It may feel like a compulsion. You may just energetically feel pulled to someone, but there will be some sign to you where you will feel the energy. It will be different than what you feel when you connect with other people with whom you don't have karma with. I hope that makes sense. And then counterpart connections. So what can you tell us about counterpart connections? What I'm getting is that within your soul family, there are those connections. So it will be a similar feeling that you will be drawn to a person or persons based upon that past life connection and or karma. So that would be your counterpart, your soul family counterparts. I believe that's what you were asking about. So it would be sometimes an individual or sometimes multiple. And these will be people that you are drawn to over and over because there will be multiple connections that you have with them. So that would be different from when you just encounter somebody that you've got a past life contract. These would be your family who are going to show up over and over. Let me know if that makes sense. Hopefully it does. Kathy B, no problem. You can go off topic. We're just kind of twiddling our thumbs here until more questions come in, right? So no problem. Um, Two children missing in Nova Scotia. I'm so sorry. I can ask about them and if they're alive, pray they are, but you have a feeling they're not. Okay, this is not my forte. I will ask, but let's keep it between us because we don't want to disturb the family members. So, what's the best? Who's the best to ask about that? Azrael. Archangel Azrael, could you step up and help us, please? Two children missing in Nova Scotia. Can you tell us, is it highly likely they will be found alive? Oh, I get a big no and a sinking in the pit of my stomach. So are you saying they have already crossed over? Is it highly likely they've already? Yeah, they've already crossed. Okay. Will remains be found? Is it highly likely remains will be found? Maybe. Not a definite maybe. And I'm hearing cremains, so they might have been taken care of in that way. Sorry to say. Anything else that you can add? Yeah, what we can do is we can, of course, send them love and light, ask the angels to help them in their transition, and to be with their families to comfort them. And we can also pray that what I just got is totally wrong and they're going to come home to their families because anything is possible. Yeah. Goddess Val, when you were 10, you read a pamphlet published by the Catholic Church describing 3 days of darkness. It was terrifying at the time, and it started your path to leave the church. I think I have a vague recollection of that myself from something I might have heard when I was a kid at church. And I think it was connected to when Satan came in and started wreaking havoc. I think we've already passed that point. Maybe we had those 3 days of darkness and didn't know it, but I will ask about it. So, the 3 days of darkness, is that or was that connected to an old story about Satan? Yeah. And has that already happened? No. Okay. Yeah. Because just to continue that thought, Satan isn't a real thing, but it sure does seem like the Antichrist is a real thing, and we're watching that play out in real time. It's so funny because I used to think so many generations of people, particularly in the Christian community, believed that, Resurrection Day was, or not resurrection, I lost the word. You know what I mean. Um, Revelation Day was coming, and they were going to be snatched up off the earth and saved because they were the good people. And, that whole, I don't know what the word I want is, but not getting it, a box of crap. And it's just not true because that's just not the way it happens. We will leave our bodies here and we'll reincarnate. We don't need to go through that whole revelation thing of being raptured up into the heavens. So now I forget where I was going with that. Don't let me wander too far. I'll go right off the cliff. But that was just an old myth to keep people in line. So, the only hell and, evil of that matter, it's what we create here for ourselves on earth. So we can choose not to engage in that. That's what I wanted to conclude it with. Yeah, and it's a great reason to leave the church because there may be some good ones out there, but most of them seem dead set on controlling the people for their own means, nothing having to do with their souls and raising them up. Oh, Marianne, cool, you're on Kindle. Yeah, so you can have the book and start right away. So the book is set up where you can read through the meditation so that you know what it's going to take you through. And then there's a link to take you to the audio for each meditation. So once you've got the gist, what you're going to do, then you listen. And that will allow you to fully give yourself over to the meditation, not being in that place of, oh, what's coming next, which takes you out of the experience. That's the reason Metatron had it set up that way. The pamphlet said it would occur in April. It would be cold and all sorts of demons would be turned loose to fly around the earth. Well, I mean, we could have something similar to that, but it wouldn't be demons in the way that the pamphlet was talking. It would be the dark forces that are already here that are helping, trying to take over the earth. So, there are earthbound spirits, who knows what else, dark entities that are out there wreaking havoc. So it could be that. We'll ask that question, Linda. So the 3 days of darkness, is that maybe connected to power outages? No, not power outages. It would be different because that wouldn't have the same impact if it was just a power outage. Although if you know who turns out the lights all over the world, I guess that would have a big impact. But I don't think he's got even that much power. So you're talking about just something that kind of dims the light. Yeah, not totally. You know what? I just got a picture. Remember when we had the total eclipse? I thought it would go totally black, but all of the video footage that I saw, even the place that said they were total eclipse, it did not go totally black. You could still see people. It was like just maybe a little bit more than dusk. It was that kind of light. So that's just the picture I got. So you're saying that if these 3 days of darkness come, it will be like the eclipse style light. Yeah, more like that. So we can still function, but it will be emotionally disturbing to people because they don't know why, how long, or what's causing it. And, that's going to disrupt a lot of things that rely on solar for those 3 days. It's just going to freak a lot of people out. So for us, we have to keep our heads. We've got to stay calm, knowing that if it does happen, we've got the angels to help us through. And those who are willing to come with us, be calm. Maybe we just go inside and maybe we wouldn't have lights. I don't know. Just go inside and do what we got to do and take care of ourselves. If you got a generator, if you got a solar generator, whatever you got, just to get through it. But what I'm hearing is this too shall pass. It won't last. It's temporary. And it's not something we need to worry about because we have been practicing. The angels have been taking us through maneuvers, getting us ready for all the kind of things that are coming. So just rely on the fact that you have prepared. You will be able to manage. Just go forth in faith and confidence, knowing that the angels will guide you to whatever path you need to get through in the best way when that happens. Oh, never whistle. I have asked that question so many times and the answer keeps changing. And the reason it keeps changing is because things are in flux. This is my belief, not saying it's a fact or anything like that. There are people artificially keeping that body alive. That's my belief. So they are circumventing the natural processes to do that. And that's thrown a monkey wrench into it because I was told May. Previously, I was told April. It didn't happen. So, interfering in the timeline. And we are timeline shifting. So that's also a variable. But let's just ask, angels, can you tell us, is there a range of time projected when the orange one will finally give up the ghost? Okay. And is that in the next few months? Yeah. Okay. So is it highly likely it could be May? Maybe. Probably not. June. Same answer. Yeah, there are so many irons in that fire that keep getting switched out, prolonging. Yeah. He's already passed the exit date. I get a big yes on that. He passed the exit date a while back, which is why you're getting so many different answers when you ask the various readers out there, because it keeps changing. What's true today, they interfere, and it's not true tomorrow. So, and the other thing, I have to tell you this, the angels have said, stop focusing on that. Not good to focus on that. Bad karma for you, because it's almost like we're wishing it to happen. So we don't want to do that. What we want to do is send love and light to everybody, including that being, so that whatever happens will be for the highest and best for each individual, including that one. That's what we want to send, that energy. And P.S., the angels say, when you do that, when you send that positive energy, wishing only the best, that might accelerate things. So there's something to think about. G7 meetings in June near where you live, and he's not there. He might not be physically capable. That could be the reason. But also, I don't think the U.S. is going to get invited to G7. I think we're going to get kicked out. Because how could we be there in Ukraine? Even though they've supposedly made nice, but let's ask. So, is DJT likely to attend the next G7? Yes. Oh, okay. Is it a definite that he's going to attend? Not a definite, so it could change. Okay. So it's a maybe? Yeah, it's a maybe right now. We can't get a definite at the moment. Oh, that's cool, Pamela. Thank you. Metatron worked with what you asked, but you were talking about someone else. Gotcha. Okay. Kathy, you need 172 for a majority. The last was contested and won by 29, so closer to a majority. Yeah, it's kind of the same as it is here, right? We're only like, I don't know, 4 seats or something in the House. So we're looking at everything. Yes, definitely. Thank you, Sonia. Praying, absolutely. And you guys, just a note about praying, for what it's worth. When you pray, you don't have to do the old fashioned prayer. You can simply have a conversation like we're doing right now with the angels, with Creator, all of them. Because that's the way it was always intended for us to communicate, not to be on our knees begging. Because we're sovereign souls, we're creators of our reality. And when we do that, we are abdicating our responsibility. And that's not what Creator wants for us. So we are co creating with the angels and with Creator. So just stand up, have a conversation, ask for what you need help with, and they will bring it. You are welcome, Amanda. Marianne, walk-in soul's a thing? Absolutely. I happen to know one for sure, and I think I might know a couple others. But yeah, it does happen. Because sometimes, there are souls that are in a hurry to get back here. They've got some business they need to take care of. They don't want to wait until they do the whole pre-birth plan and work with the mother to get the body ready and all of that. So if they get word that a soul is about to exit a body and all the conditions are right, they can jump in and take over. It's not a smooth transition by any way, by any means. And it can leave them really disoriented. And it takes them a while to figure out who's who in their life and who they are, because they don't know any of that. They just jump in and have to figure it out as they go. That would be like an amnesiac coming back into a family, not knowing who they are or anything about themselves, and having to grasp it all as quickly as possible to fit back into their life. And I guess an amnesiac is kind of a way to describe it, because initially they know who they are, but once they integrate into that body, that's gone, just like when the babies come in. So yeah, it's not an easy thing to do, and it's not a common thing. It's very uncommon. So let me know if that makes sense. 3 days of darkness, could they be technology blackouts? So, Metatron, is it possible 3 days of the blackouts could be related to technology in some way? Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, and he's reminding me, I read something recently that those solar flares could actually cause problems with the power grid. So that's a possibility. Not a high likelihood, but a possibility. So there's just a lot of variables right now around that. And it's feeling like there are multiple choices for this to happen, and the energy's going to come in, and it's like, okay, you got these 3 choices, and the energy will be drawn to the one that will have the greatest impact, because who knows which that will be with all of the energy shifting and the timeline shifting. This sounds really crazy, you guys, so I hope it's making sense to you. My ego back here is telling me, that can't be true. And yet, what have we seen? We have seen some pretty unbelievable things come true, and all we can do is say, okay, guess it must be true because I saw it with my own eyes. Wendy, your current husband, were you siblings in line for the throne and he had you killed? Wow, what a story. So for Wendy, and normally I don't answer these personal questions on metaphysical, but we don't have many questions here, so I will do that now just so that we can keep everything going. All right, so for Wendy, current husband, do they have a past life connection? Yes. Were they spouses? Yes. Were they royalty? I get a big no on that. Were they in line for some kind of a royal position? Okay. So you were in line for some kind of a position, but you weren't. So that makes no sense. That doesn't compute. So were they part of some royal family? No. Oh, I get it. Okay. So would it have been like an authoritarian? Yeah, it was like an authoritarian. So you were in line to secede, to succeed? I don't know, whatever that is. You were in line in an authoritarian government to be next up. Okay. And did the husband try to kill her? He thought about it. Okay. He was thinking about it, but he didn't actually. Is that what you're saying? He didn't do it? No, but he was thinking about it. Okay. Hope that makes sense, Wendy. That's what I'm getting. Sonia, you knew at a young age, around 9, in church, that we're all one in spirit. Oh, that's beautiful. Bless you. And it was against your church, but that's what you felt. Yeah. There are some souls who did keep that memory. They somehow retained it. And I have a very distinct memory when I was 4 years old of Jesus telling me that there's truth in all religions. And I think that's kind of along the same lines. It's like you have to be discerning and not judgmental because they're doing the best they can. They all have like a piece of the puzzle and they're sharing. So it's complicated, not a simple thing. But now that we're adults, we get to decide what we believe and what direction we go. Take the good and leave the rest. Kathy, as soon as you saw the sorry come up, you had a distinct feeling that they were gone. Yeah. And you were praying it was wrong, but it's very dark. May they rest in peace. Yeah, I'm sorry. Let's send some love and light to Kathy for dealing with this darkness and to those children and their families. So all of the angels and teams gathered here, please join us, collectively sending a sonic boom level of love and comforting energy to the families of the children, the friends, all of the bereaved, to the country who needs soothing. So they're all in shock over this. And to Kathy's heart especially, please and thank you. Bring comfort. We can still hope that they are found, Kathy. Always hope. Gray Raven, is it safe to open a spirituality business? You are planning to open next week. Wow, cool. You're hesitant because of the threat of the Christian Catholicism nationalism. Okay, so for Gray Raven Tarot, is it a wise and safe choice to start the business next week? No, it's not. You need to be careful. Okay. Is there a way that it could be started in a kind of an underground fashion? Yeah, you can keep it kind of down low, as they would say, and connecting very specifically and carefully with those who you trust. So you can get the momentum and the energy flowing. That way you'll be ready. Now, is there a time frame when it would be wise to start the business publicly? That's up in the air right now. They're saying bide your time, go slow, don't be in a rush. You can start doing private work with people, maybe little parties of people you know and trust. You can do that. That would be safe. But at least for this short period of time, be wise. Your angels are letting you know it's not wise right now. That's why you're asking the question. Take care of you so that you will be here to carry on when we get through these dark days. And come back and let us know how it goes, how you're doing with it, so we can support you. Never whistle. The orange one was invited. All right, cool. Kathy, you love the clarification about praying. We're not begging, we're co-creating. Beautiful and powerful. Yeah. This is what our new awakened spirituality is bringing to us. All those years on your knees, they talk about going into the prayer closet in the dark and essentially begging. And that makes creators so sad when we do that, because we disempower ourselves. When we stand up as sovereign souls, we ask for what we want and need, and they deliver what's best for us, which might be slightly different. They get as close to what we want as possible, but always the option and opportunity that's best for us. So we're not begging for anything, we're co-creating. That's where the joy and the excitement comes in. So we're all being called to do that now consciously, stepping into our power. And P.S., when we do that, now we're more empowered to battle against the dark forces. It's like that was an earlier stage in our development and expertise as we're moving along and in how to be an empowered soul. So yeah, it's really important. That's something, share it far and wide, because we need more people to get that and get on board with us. Sonia, that's what you felt. Okay. In all regions. Yeah. Hey, Debbie. Yeah, we're still here. Still going strong. Yep. Pucker up your lips and blow. Just whistle. Yeah. Oh, thank you for that. Yeah, if you haven't liked the video, please like. Please subscribe if you haven't. As everybody tells you, it's free. It doesn't cost you anything, but it really helps the channel to get more people coming and visiting. And if you haven't seen the new videos I put out recently, there is the FDR, which is just riveting. And he talked about ETs. Mind blown. He came in, he's talking about the Constitution and fixing the country, and then he goes off on ETs. I was just gobsmacked by that. But it felt true, it felt believable. So you judge and let me know. And then I put out the short on Sylvia Browne, which is actually a couple of minutes. It's not the entire message that she delivered during Livestream, but it's a meaty chunk of it and important. She wants to help us now. She was calling out and saying, hey, to the mediums out there, be careful. Be careful when and where you practice, because now is a time. There are literally dark force bounty hunters out there going after the well-known mediums. So be careful. And she said, listen, I'm available. You need my help? Call me. I'll be there. And then she says, just say, hey, Sylvia. But be careful when you do that, because your computer might hear, hey, Siri, and take off on you. And then she laughed. And she's, that's just my sense of humor. So it was really a funny conversation and a big surprise, because I didn't know she was coming. She just showed up to be the guest speaker on day 7 of Livestream. Speaking of which, if you haven't seen Livestream, oh my gosh, you're missing out. 11 days of programming that Metatron inspired to be a gift to us as we're going through these really difficult times, that we can go back and revisit the powerful messages, the love, and the solidarity that came with doing that for those 11 days with all of the lightworkers who joined us. It was really phenomenal. Oh, thank you, Sonia. I appreciate that. Gray Raven, are you saying that... Oh, wait, let me read the first part before I answer that. You'll keep it to YouTube for now, work on the digital design, and then when you're ready, you'll go local. Perfect, yeah. Yeah, just be careful and, let your angels guide you. There might be an opening where you can move forward. And certainly they'll let you know when is the time. But yeah, that's perfect. When the minister's gone, yeah. Linda, you occasionally have second thoughts about prayer because of the Catholic Church and you're working your way through it. Yeah. Yeah, my friend Irish Granny has that same thing. When we did Prayer-a-thon, each of the guests who came on, because that was 11 hours back to back with guests coming on for every 2 hours we switched to a new guest. And I wanted her to be part of it because she was my co-host in the psychathon that we had done. So I wanted her to step up for the prayer-a-thon. But she had to hold back because of her Catholic upbringing. Public prayer is just a no-go for her. So she came on and she did a reading about the prayer-a-thon and the future, the love and the oneness we were sending out, but she couldn't participate in the other. And so we respect that. We all do what we can. When we're ready, we do more. So yeah, I mean, in your private time, you can have those conversations, but you never have to get on your knees and beg again. That's old school, over and done with. Just like contracts. That's something we can talk about while more questions come in. There's a lot of talk out there. I see it on many channels. Soul contracts, big popular topic because it's been talked about for a very long time. People incarnate and they know they've got these soul contracts and they're worried about what if I don't fulfill them and how do I do it and all that stuff. Well, the truth is, in this lifetime, soul contracts stop being relevant. So any soul contracts you have, if you don't wish to fulfill them, you can just release them because you are a party to the contract. You can release it. Ask your angels to help you dissolve it, to clear the energy, transmute it, and gone. You don't have to. But you don't have to let go of whatever it was you wanted to accomplish if you still do. You can still do those things without a contract, which changes the energy so that you can do it from a more positive place. Am I making sense? Does that help? Because any soul contracts that are remaining that no longer serve you, when I do a past life reading for somebody, we look for contracts that no longer serve you. Gone, cleared. Now we leave the ones that you're okay with. We don't take care of everything. It's only the ones you're ready to get rid of. But they act as energy drains on you because you now have like an energy cord with the person or persons involved in that contract, which is not helpful. In this lifetime, we need to protect our energy so that we can rev up and be here to be our fully empowered lightworker selves. We've got a massive job and we don't need the distraction of contracts. So, for what it's worth. And if you don't believe that, no problem. It's okay. You go with what fits your belief system. I'm just offering this other perspective that Metatron has shared with me. And you do with it what feels best to you. Hey, Foxy Mama. Specific affirmations to remember who we are during the heightened energies, or is holding more love energies in our heart a vision of our new earth good too? Any of those things are good, Foxy Mama. It's really feeling into who you are, and that whole concept of being the creator of our reality. We have been hearing that thing since I don't know when, like the almost the beginning of the 2000s or the 2000s. It's been around a long time since The Secret came out, but most of us didn't really understand what it meant or how to use it. Now we are grasping that it means we're co-creating with our angels. We're starting to get all of that. So when you step into that and know that you're not a poor stepchild begging for crumbs, that changes your energy. And the other thing is, if you haven't already found the thing that feeds your soul, then make haste and do that. Once you find what feeds your soul and start doing it, now you are smack dab in alignment with your soul purpose. So that's something we do in the soul introduction reading. If you haven't figured it out already, we're going to tell you about it so that you can make that decision because it's in your blueprint that comes from the Akashic records. So it's all there to get. And for people who have had that reading, they take that information. Here's the blueprint of who you are. Now take it, get out there and start using it. So you compare what you now know about yourself to what you've experienced and start seeing the connections of how that has worked and played out in your life which means then you are more consciously making choices going forward. So those are just some of the things that you can consider to help you with that. But really, it's feeling into what does your soul want? Not your thinking, your ego. Feel in your solar plexus. What does your soul want? Those are always the best choices. Do that. Stay connected to your angels. Talk to them regularly. And if you're not able to talk to them, then for crying out loud, go get my 21-day meditation book. It's The Path to Hearing Angels and Guides. Exactly that. It teaches you to channel, to hear them, to have the dialogue, because we were always intended to do that. So Metatron shared that through me for the world so that you could all learn to have that two-way dialogue. So in this time, oh my gosh, do we need that? You don't have to rely on some person out there on the internet or whoever to tell you what you should do. You go straight to the source. And that means creator or the angels or, whoever you feel like chatting with. Just go to the Akashic records, connect there, and that way you can trust that anyone you connect with is of the light. If you're new, you wouldn't have heard me say that. I say it all the time. When I go and do this work, I always go through the Akashic records to meet them there. That way, no worries about dark energy because it's not allowed in the Akashic records. No dishonesty, no lies, no darkness. It's all light and love. So let me know if that answered your question, that long-winded answer, Foxy Mama. Kathy, you are so welcome. The Sonic Boom of Prayers. Yeah. It's the least we can do when it's so easy. We can send love to everybody. The angels, a number of times, have asked me to pray for the orange one. My heart said, I don't want to do that. But really, it's a simple ask. And I know because they've taught me, if I will let go of my egoic feelings about the situation, come from my heart, soul to soul, I can pray for that individual. And I have, wishing the best, the most optimal, beneficent outcome for all. So that's actually a good exercise to do, because the more you do it, the easier it gets to do, the better for your soul, because you're really blessing yourself when you do that. You're taking away that negative energy. He doesn't deserve that. So if we can send him love and good wishes, it boomerangs back on us in a positive way. And maybe it makes him uncomfortable. I don't know, but I like to think it does. Gray Raven, I meant wait until the orange menace is finally gone. Gotcha. Yeah. You're considering leaving the country after the whole mess if you can. Well, after the whole mess, I would think you would be able to. Yeah. Is it highly likely that Gray Raven will be able to leave the country when this whole debacle with the orange one is over? Yes. Yeah. Things will gradually go back to, it won't be normal, but it will be a new normal, a better normal. And you know what? Please, God, I pray, in that new normal, let's take care of this trafficking and all of the indigenous peoples that are disappearing and missing. Oh, please, we need that. They need that. Do us that favor, please. We will jump up and do what we need to do to co-create that with you. Just let us know. That needs to be part of what we're going towards. The one good thing to have come out of this whole debacle, especially against spiritual workers, light or dark, it's brought us together closer than ever. Yeah, absolutely, it has. It's really made us into this big tent family. Everybody's welcome. As long as you're respectful and you're helping to move towards oneness, love, and peace. Somebody commented on one of my videos the other day that you could take this message to either be for or against the orange one. That was not the words they used, but that was the message. And yeah, hello, this is from the angels. This is love and oneness. That's what we are promoting here. We're not promoting ciderism. That gets us nowhere. Love and oneness. You come in and meet us in that energy, then you're welcome. But if you're going to come in here and defecate all over this channel like you did the Capitol, then I'm going to boot your butt out. Because that's not allowed here. You're not going to come and dump on us like that. But, everybody is welcome with love and oneness. Oh my gosh, Foxy Mama, they sent you the wrong book? Oh, well, if you're reading the first book first, that's okay, because it'll teach you more about the Akashic records that you might not have known. And there's a lot of really good wisdom in there that I share with you that the angels have taught me through the years, things that I wouldn't have known otherwise, and a lot of people don't know. So part of the intention of that book is to pass that along so that you can accelerate faster, because it took me quite a while to get there, having to learn these things piecemeal. So the whole thing is acceleration, because we need it right now. Thank you, Miss Debbie in the flow. I appreciate that. Hey, Arlene, welcome. You love the background. I'm so glad. Yeah, isn't it cool? I was gobsmacked at this background. The heart, the planets, all the little symbols. And I'll put a picture up for you somewhere so you can see it without me blocking the center, because there's this thing in the middle. That might, I guess that is the astrology wheel, I guess, or whatever they call it. I don't know. The horoscope wheel? Yeah, there's so much in this picture. Mind-boggling. And it just felt so perfect for what we're doing. Yeah. So we got about 10 more minutes, you guys, before we're going to wrap. If you got any more questions, pop them in there. Thank you, Miss Debbie. Yeah. So you guys, while we're tap dancing and waiting for the last few questions, I want to bounce something off you. I talked with the members about this. So seekers, you've already heard this, but I'm going to throw it out there again because I'd like to get feedback from the community on, because I'm very conflicted about which way to go. The Ask Your Guides that's on the third Saturday. If you're on my mailing list, I invite you to come there. You get a Zoom link. You can ask your questions and I can see you so I can do a deeper reading. I've been doing that, I don't know, 5 or 6 years now, and it's gotten old for me. It's gotten stale, and it doesn't feel as satisfying spiritually as I would like it to be, because my goal in this was to the people who show up face to face, I would help them with something meaningful. And honestly, a lot of the questions just don't feel that meaningful to me. They're very trivial. We could do them here. I don't need to see your face to do those kind of questions. And I'd rather have that time for the things that help you spiritually to advance. That feels good to my soul. That's what I want to share, not when will my house sell. So I'm probably going to bring it inside the membership. But I want to have something out there publicly that I can do that will replace it, because I still need to have an incentive for people to sign up for my mailing list. But I'm just conflicted on what that would look like. And so here was one idea I had. Maybe what I do is like we did on some of the big fundraisers that we did, where the angels chose the people who were in the chat. They were the, quote, winners for the prizes. So it could be like that. So if you want to come and get that deeper reading, then be in chat on YouTube. And I could shift it to StreamYard, and then, ask the angels to choose the names from chat. And then I could bring you on stage with me on StreamYard, and we could do that reading. And then you would go, and then I'd bring up the next person. It might be fewer people get readings, but if they're more meaningful readings, and by the way, those meaningful readings always have meaning and value for people who are watching live or later. So I just want to up the value level. So send me your ideas about this. I'd love to hear them, because you might come up with something totally different than I was thinking of. But something has to shift in the next few months so that It feels good to me, so I can bring my best, and it's a service to the community. That's what I'm looking for. Happy Monday, Sandra. Glad you could join us. What happened to Liz Hamill, the chemistry university student who fell from the balcony on campus? I don't know who that is. I will ask. Sometimes I don't get good answers if I don't have an idea of the story to latch onto, but I will ask. We'll see what we get. I just haven't heard anything about that. So Metatron, Liz Hamill, chemistry university student, fell from the balcony on campus. Can you tell me about this individual, or will you tell me about this individual? Okay. So what can you share? What happened? Was it an accident? It was an accident. Oh, are you? Oh, maybe not. Okay. Was it an accident? Yes or no, please. No, it was not an accident. Did somebody facilitate her fall? Was it more than one somebody? One somebody, okay. Was it politically motivated? Was she an activist? This is the story I'm getting. I don't know if it's true or not. Sandra, political activist, and she was pushed. Helped, I should say. She was helped off the balcony, because I have to be cognizant of the ears that are listening. Oh, Sandra, that I can't ask that question publicly, if you can imagine why. Because these are people out there who it affects. So, yeah, those kind of things we got to be really careful about when we do them. So, thank you, Debbie Brady, for that. I can read this little description. So, a university student, her fall, mired in mystery, family and friends describe. First year student left with a male nobody knew and then fell 3 stories off a breezeway 20 minutes later. So, yeah, I don't think it's safe to do that. About the second question, we could do that in one of our private. We could do that in the members at the end of the month if you still have the question. If you're in the Seekers membership, and by the way, if you want to join us in Seekers, I can give you that link. We could ask it there in private, but I'm not safe to do it here. Here you go. Yeah, I think that works. So, but I got a yes that the fall was facilitated. It was not an accident. So that's as far as to the line as we can really go. University of California, Santa Barbara. Thank you, Debbie. Yeah. I'm just going back to what I missed here. So Miss Debbie says, yeah, put the personal readings in the private group. Okay. Gray Raven, you'd like more meditations. You love them. I just gave you the link for the membership. We have been doing meditations. So if you join, you get access to all the stuff we've already done. And there are some really whiz-bang meditations in there that are just stunning. So you'll appreciate that. And they get early access to things. I shared the FDR thing with them at our last meeting, so they got it way ahead of you guys. And they got it live. And I shared some other stuff too, which I haven't yet published for the rest of the world, so that will come later. But I can, expedite getting things to them. Thank you, Linda. Good idea. Okay, appreciate that. Kathy B., you pray for the orange one and all world leaders that they lead with their heart for all the right reasons. The best way to fight the dark is with light and love. Amen. Thank you. We will second, third, fourth, fifth, and everything that, because, yeah, that's the truth. Foxy Mama, you participated in the Ask the Guides for the first time. You ask if a person will proceed with legal action. You got a yes. You asked the angels for help, and you co-created a harmonious mediation. Oh, that is so wonderful. So happy for you. Thanks for letting us know. Arlene, did we have a shift in the timeline? You feel you slowed down mentally before you were on speed and time was moving fast. We did. We talked about that earlier. There has been a shift. And it seems that people are feeling it differently because I had managed to slow time down, consciously doing that as the angels directed me to. And then in the last couple of weeks, it's like somebody threw a monkey wrench in it and it's on high speed again. So I have to slowly work through that and get back to that controlling the time again instead of letting the time control me. That's what it's about. So yeah, different people are feeling it. When we talked about it earlier, it was we were straddling the line between third and fourth dimension. So there's a lot of that going on. And people that, of course, totally on each side as well. I hope that makes sense. Goddess Val, you are so welcome. Thank you for being here. Yes, Arlene, amen. Yeah. The angels, oops, it just bounced. Where'd you go? Foxy Mama, the angels sent your brother-in-law to be a neutral mediator. That's wonderful. You want to know if this same person will still take action or if you shifted to a timeline with a harmonious solution. Okay. So for Foxy Mama, the opposing party in this dispute, is it highly likely that they're satisfied and they will back off now? It's in the middle, not quite. Needs a little more mediation. So the opportunity for harmonious mediation is still there. Yeah. It's like, don't abandon it. Just don't think it's done and I can push it away and move on. It needs some stroking and some special love energy sent at it just to seal the deal and keep it on an even keel. That would be really wise right now. So it's kind of in the middle, but it feels like with some attention and a little extra love and care mediation that it will sway to harmonious. Thank you, Linda, for that. I appreciate that. Sandra, you invite the divine violet flame to saturate all energy everywhere, covering all. Thank you. Truly appreciate the angel work. Oh, you are so welcome. So happy you could be here. You are welcome, Kathy B. And moderators, absolutely. You are my heroes. Thank you for being here. You do such amazing work. Love and light to everybody. So should we close with prayer? Kind of feels like it's appropriate given all the things going on in the world. And any last comments before we do the prayer and wrap up? Just pop them in there real quick. Let me get a drink. I'm getting dry. Okay, I'm not seeing anything else come up. You are welcome, Kathy B. Foxy Mama, you sense that too. Awesome. So we're on the same page with that. Yeah, you keep working your magic with the angels and everything will be fine. That's for all of us. That's true in all of these situations. You know, I wrote to you about the struggle I've been going through with this, trying to get this van so that I can get my mobile office going and be more productive because I got books to write and I just can't keep up with everything. So the angels told me I just needed to calm down and be patient. So I put it on pause for a week. We'll go back and see what it looks like next week. I can't rush it, even though I need it now. I just have to keep doing the best I can. And that's just so true about all of our challenges and obstacles. Arlene, you keep seeing 1111 almost every day, sometimes twice. Oh, it's about new beginnings, but it's an angel message. When you see that, they are reaching out to you with both hands saying, let's go fly, baby. So if you're not already connecting with them, please reach out, meet them halfway. You could do the 21-day meditation challenge. That would help you if you're not able to hear them. If you are able to hear them, it's just a big invitation. But you will keep getting that until you take action. They are relentless. They'll just keep bringing it until it's like, what do you want already? It's like that earworm that just keeps showing up until you realize, oh, that's kind of a message. I need to do something. Yeah. Thank you, Debbie. Fantastic week, month, and year to everybody. Hugs and love. Absolutely. All right, let's do a quick little prayer and then we'll sign off for tonight. So take a couple deep breaths. Ooh. Let's call in that angel energy. Come on down, baby. Join us. Wrap your arms around us in this big collective circle of beautiful, magnificent lightworkers joined in love, intention, grace. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here with us. For all of you, for coming, for being here, for bringing your energy and your teams, because we can accomplish so much more together when you show up. Thank you to all the teams for being here, because what would we do without you? Love you to the moon and back. You are so amazing. And angels, we just want to send out love and light to those who are hurting out there in the world today. Wrap your arms around them, comfort them. Help them to see that there is a way out of the morass that they're in, that it's not hopeless, that they are loved, that they are magnificent, and there is much hope for a great future for all of us together. Please soften the hearts of those who have turned away from humanity and embraced hate. Help them to make that tiny little crack in their hearts that we can filter love through, that will soften them and bring them back into the light so that we can all dance together to Earthtopia, because dancing feels so much better than marching. Thank you for being here, for sending your love, for inspiring us to reach higher every day, for all that you do today, all that you will do tomorrow, and for all of the tomorrows. We are so blessed and so grateful. To all of you, thank you. To angels, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Creator. All the archangels, much love, light to all. Amen. Oh, thank you for the link, Debbie. Sandra, stay safe, protected, everyone, abundant healing blessings. Thank you. All right, so I'm going to send you all off. Much love today, tomorrow, and always. Mwah! Good night, everybody. There we go.